This is a first in the series of videos in the Africa Open for Business series on the economic, political, and certain social metrics of African economies and subjects that will be of interest to you if you are looking to invest in or move to an African country. I want to point out one thing at the beginning. This first video is not a gotcha video about stupid Africans, as this series intends to look at many of the variables that impact the economies of African countries. Number 10. Denis Sassou Nguesso, Republic of Congo. Denis Sassou Nguesso has been President of the Republic of Congo since October 1997. He was educated as a teacher in Dolosi. He received a military training between 1961 and 1963 at the Officers' School of Churchill in Algeria and at the Infantry Academy at Saint Maxiant in France. Number 9. Isaias Afwerki, Eritrea. Isaias Afwerki is the first president of Eritrea. He earned his high school diploma from Prince Macunnen High School in the year 1965. With his good grades, he managed to get admission to the highly competitive College of Engineering at Haile Selassie I University. After studying for 1 year at the university, he dropped out and joined the Eritrean freedom struggle. Number 8. Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz, Mauritania. Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz is the president of Mauritania. He was sworn into office in August 2009. Even though he did not have a high school certificate, he did well at the Royal Military Academy and had an excellent career in the Mauritanian military. Number 7. Paul Kagame, Rwanda. Paul Kagame has been president of Rwanda since March 2000. He was born to a Tutsi family in South Rwanda. His family had to flee Uganda due to the Rwandan Revolution when he was just 2 years old. He spent his childhood in Uganda. He began his primary education in a school near a refugee camp. He also joined the Intari school, but was later suspended due to his tendency to fight anyone who spoke ill of his people in Rwanda. He later completed his studies without distinction at Old Kampala Secondary School and never received a higher education. Number 6. Yaha Jema, Gambia. Yaha Abdul Aziz Jema, at the making of this video, is the outgoing president of Gambia. He studied at the Gambian High School at Banjul. He later received military training in Senegal and the United States Army School of the Americas. As of the making of this video, there is now a transition from President Jema to a new president, Adama Barrow. Number 5. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, Algeria. Abdelaziz Bouteflika is president of Algeria. He grew up in Al-Juda. He attended 3 schools there, including a high school, Abdel Momen High School. He was a good student, but never received a higher education. Number 4. Omar al-Bashir, Sudan. Omar al-Bashir is president of Sudan. He completed his primary education in the northern part of Sudan and joined the Sudanese army in 1960. He trained at the Egyptian Military Academy in Cairo. He quickly rose through the ranks and became a paratroop officer. Number 3. Ismail Omar Guelleh, Djibouti. Ismail Omar Guelleh is president of Djibouti. He attended a traditional Islamic school, later finishing high school, and joined the police before becoming head of the secret police and chief of cabinet. Guelleh became president in 1999. Number 2. Salva Kiir Mayardit, South Sudan. Salva Kiir Mayardit is president of the newly formed country of South Sudan. He could not complete his schooling due to the warlike situation in Sudan at the time. He dropped out of school and joined the rebel movement. Kiir then joined the Sudanese armed forces after the Addis Ababa peace agreement. He eventually rose to the head of the SPLM's military wing when Dr. John Garang was killed in a helicopter crash. And number 1. Jacob Zuma of South Africa. South African President Jacob Zuma tops the list as the only African president without any formal education. He became involved in politics at an early age and went on to become president of the nation in May 2009. His lack of education has been a hot topic for many years. There are some notable points to be made here. That these men rose to power with little or no formal education says something about the spirit and character of these men. That there is something in each of them that would not quit, would not give up, and would not yield to circumstances. Many of these people did not receive limited educations out of inclination, but because of limited access to formal education in societies where the colonial powers were taking everything with them when they left at the time. In many cases, this left only access to military education meant only to make good soldiers instead of good political leaders with moral centers. Many of these so-called military leaders had to educate themselves and turn themselves into good political leaders. And while it is true that a country's fate is tied to the intelligence of its leaders, one cannot but marvel at the resiliency of these men to hold on to power for as long as they have. And yes, long-term presidencies often bring with them corruption on a massive scale, including outright theft of state property, social injustice, and political murder. No one can deny that if many of Africa's leaders were better educated and less selfish, with one eye on the future of the country and another eye on the problems on the ground, that Africa's overall GDP and standard of living would be much higher. But things are changing in Africa today. A continent which values above all else education and self-actualization. The time for the president for life is coming to an end in modern Africa, as cries for democracy get louder and the need for leaders who are versed in the ways of the world become ever greater. Future videos will address other aspects of modern life in African states today. Please contact me with news about your projects that you are working on in any African country related to entrepreneurship, health, education, technology, or other subjects related to the improvement of life in modern Africa. We ask you to please like and share our videos. Please visit our news site for more news about Africa. Follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and be sure to click on our links to our website promoting healthy water for all people. Thanks for watching. Take care.